Hey guys, LQ here with the LQ Review, here to give you my thoughts on the most recent episode of Survivor Edge of Extinction. That'd be episode 13 of Survivor Edge of Extinction. And we're almost done with another season of Survivor. Just like that. Just like that, we have one more season left. Or one more season. Just like that, we have one more episode left of Survivor this season. And then we're not going to have any more Survivor until September. So it's not a very long wait, but it's still, no more Survivor for a few months, and that's always kind of sad. But it's tempered a little bit by the fact that I have a new favorite player in the game. I've been jumping on the Devin train a little bit. He's a good player. He's been playing his butt off, and I've always said I like the players that play. Even if I'm not necessarily rooting for them to win, I like watching the players that come to play. And Devin is playing hard. Devins is playing hard. He's playing his butt off. And I like that. So, let's talk about some of the moves that he made today. The whole misdirection with the idol. Trying to make everybody think that he got it on Edge of Extinction. And not letting them realize that he actually got it at camp. Because everybody thinks that all the advantages are coming from Edge of Extinction now. So he's playing that up to his advantage. And that was really smart. That was a really smart move on his part. And I'm a little shocked that nobody's really like, do we believe this guy? Now Lauren doesn't believe him. Lauren already mentioned that she knows that there's stuff on the on the island at camp. But everybody else is just kind of going with it, which is interesting to me. I don't know how much they believe him though, because they are kind of following him around, shadowing him a little bit, and staying all up in his business. But it's still fascinating to see the way that he's kind of thrown them off the scent, if you will. And who knows? I feel like Devins has become a challenge threat also. He just won individual immunity, and he just got rid of probably the biggest challenge threat in the game, Aurora. So I think that he is a legitimate contender to win Survivor, which is shocking to me because he's been voted out. Normally, people who get voted out and come back in, they're blacklisted. They're blacklisted, and normally they get voted out again right away. This is different, and I'm really enjoying the twists and turns that this has taken with a player who has been voted out, come back in, reintegrated himself in the game, and then is making it really far and has a legitimate chance at winning. Now let's talk about Tribal Council. Tribal Council was a huge move. Pulled out the hidden immunity idol, said, I have this, I'm playing it for Julie. And everybody believed him. Everybody believed that he was just going to play it for Julie. Except Aurora. And Aurora's the one that got voted out. You know what? Aurora's stock rose a lot these last few weeks for me. The first part of the season, she was the invisible lady. Didn't know who she was. But here as we got late into the season, she started playing hard. And she became a challenge threat, probably the challenge threat of the season. And Aurora played her butt off. Just not in the first few episodes. Those first few episodes, she was laying low, which is effective. So it can't really hold that against her. But when Devins did not play the immunity idol, I thought Julie was gone. I thought Julie's done. It was a worthy bluff, but Julie's gone now. And when everybody ended up falling for Devin's bluff, except for Aurora, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. He sold the heck out of it. And I don't. Those are things that we don't see a lot in Survivor. Is people selling a bluff that well? Usually people stick with the game plan, and then they make adjustments as needed. They didn't even stick with the game plan here. They bought his bluff that much. So yeah, I hope Devins wins. I do. I hope he wins. I picked Eric and Wentworth as my two picks to win the season, but I hope Devins wins. He deserves to win. This is his season. This was his season. So I hope he pulls it out. As far as Edge of Extinction is concerned, they spent a little time there today in this episode also. We got to see letters that they wrote to themselves before the season started, which I like that. I'm glad they didn't get letters from loved ones because they've been voted out. They don't deserve that honor. But they got to read letters that they wrote themselves to kind of get their game faces back on as we're getting here towards the end of Edge of Extinction. One of them's getting back in the next episode. Who that is, we don't know. But this is a good way to help them get focused, get their game faces back on, and understand, hey, it's time to do this now. So I really like that part. We haven't spent a ton of time at Edge of Extinction this season, and when we do, it's usually for an advantage that helps somebody else. And this was some nice time spent with the people at the Edge of Extinction, and that was a nice, refreshing change of pace. As far as who I think is going to get back in next week from Edge of Extinction, probably Joe. I mean, it's going to be a challenge, and he's the best all-around challenge threat, so probably Joe. But who knows? It could be any of them. Could be any of them. But if I had to lay $5 on one of them, I'd lay it on Joe. But yeah, another solid episode here, guys. This was another solid episode. Survivor's kind of taken a lot of the hardcore fans are a little turned off by it recently because there's so many idols out there, there's so many advantages out there, and the narrative has changed so much in Survivor that a lot of the hardcore fans are like, well, the social experiment's gone. It's all about strategy and idols and all that. And I disagree. It's still a social experiment. It's still a social experiment. You're still putting 20 people on an island, 18 people on an island, 16 people on an island, and forcing them to build a community and work together to be successful, and every 3 days they have to vote somebody out. That is still the game. They're just throwing a lot of curveballs in there now. And that's fine. That's fine. Life throws you curveballs. Life throws you curveballs. If Survivor's truly a social experiment, it shouldn't be the same every season. If Survivor is truly a social experiment, it should not be the same every season because life isn't the same for one person to the next. Life isn't the same from 1 year to the next, from 1 month to the next sometimes. Life throws you curveballs. So that's what Survivor does. They are creating that experience, and the social experiment extends beyond one season. Survivor is a social experiment that has gone now 38 seasons, and every season it's been a little different, throwing a few different twists at the guinea pigs that are a part of the experience. They're a part of the experiment. So I love it. But yeah, this hasn't been the best season so far. We'll wait and see how they do on the ending. The last season, or the last episode of the season. It'll be a 2-hour finale plus the reunion show. So we'll see how that plays out. But, it hasn't been the best, but it also hasn't been the worst. Whoa. Hasn't been the worst. And, like I said, let's just wait and see how the last episode plays out before we start talking about where this fits in the grand scheme of things with Survivor. I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for being here, where we get to talk about all of the geeky, all of the nerdy stuff that we love to talk about, and that includes Survivor, because Survivor is something that this guy right here is geeky and nerdy about. So, until next time, thanks a lot.